Somewhere between Facebook and Twitter, a completely fabricated quote turned into a viral controversy involving two of NASCAR's biggest names. Fans were convinced Dale Earnhardt Jr. had publicly attacked Bubba Wallace, calling for him to leave the sport entirely. There was just one problem. Earnhardt Jr. never said any of it, and now he had to prove it. If you want to stay on top of every twist in this story and the rest of the 2026 Cup Series season, subscribe and turn on notifications, because this saga moved fast and caught almost everyone off guard. The controversy began with a single post on Facebook. It claimed that Dale Earnhardt Jr. had said Bubba Wallace needed to shut up and get out of NASCAR. The post went further, alleging that Earnhardt Jr. accused Wallace of tarnishing the spirit of sportsmanship and openly called for his removal from the sport. None of it came from Earnhardt Jr. It was entirely fabricated from start to finish, yet it was written and framed in a way that made it sound like something a frustrated fan might actually believe a NASCAR legend would say out loud. What made the situation worse was the timing. The fake post surfaced shortly after Wallace snapped at Denny Hamlin following a destructive on-track incident at Darlington. That real, tense moment between two competitors gave the fabricated quote a strange sense of plausibility. Fans who were already following the Wallace and Hamlin storyline saw the fake post and assumed it fit into an ongoing narrative, even though Earnhardt Jr. had nothing to do with the Darlington incident at all. The proximity of a genuine controversy to a fake one made it far harder for casual scrollers to separate fact from fiction in the moment, and that confusion is exactly what allowed the post to travel as far as it did. The post did not stay contained to one platform. It spread from Facebook to Twitter, now known as X, and from there it began circulating widely enough that a handful of outlets picked it up without confirming whether Earnhardt Jr. had actually said any of it. By the time it reached its peak, the fake quote had accumulated hundreds of likes, along with a wave of comments from fans who appeared to genuinely believe the post was real. Some fans expressed anger at Earnhardt Jr. for words he never spoke. Others defended Wallace against an attack that had never actually happened. The comment sections beneath the post became their own small battlegrounds, filled with fans arguing over a quote that did not exist in the first place, each side convinced they were defending the correct driver against the other. Screenshots and reposts multiplied the confusion. A parody account, posting under the handle @Dalatenhart, appeared to be behind the type of content circulating, with the account itself commenting, "These are so great, man. I'm really considering making one of these, just to constantly offend the brain dead." End quote. That single reply captured exactly how easily fabricated content was being produced and pushed into NASCAR's online spaces, often without any clear disclaimer that it was fake. The account's own words made clear that provoking a reaction, not accuracy, was the entire point of the exercise. And it revealed a small but active corner of NASCAR's online community, dedicated purely to manufacturing outrage. Dale Earnhardt Jr. eventually addressed the situation directly. Rather than issuing a lengthy statement or getting drawn into an extended back and forth, he responded with a short, direct post on X. His exact words were, "Man, these fake posts get wild." 6 words. That was all it took to shut down a controversy that had already spread across multiple platforms and had been picked up by outlets that should have verified the claim before publishing anything about it. The brevity of his response was notable given how far the fake quote had traveled. There was no lengthy defense, no drawn-out explanation, and no direct engagement with the specifics of the fabricated claim. Earnhardt Jr. simply confirmed what many suspected once the post was examined closely. It had never come from him, and it was fiction from the very beginning. His approach reflected a broader pattern among NASCAR figures, who have learned that engaging too deeply with fabricated content often gives it more attention rather than less, and that a short, factual denial is often more effective than a lengthy rebuttal. The confusion the fake post created extended well beyond casual social media scrolling. On Reddit, one user wrote, "Okay, I'm new on here and I've been seeing a lot of things about Bubba Wallace and him saying something about Dale Sr. Does anybody have the real story? Because from what I'm seeing on the internet, nothing really makes sense." That comment reflected how widespread the confusion had become, with fans mixing up details, conflating Earnhardt Jr. with his father, and struggling to separate fact from a completely invented narrative. It also showed how a fabricated quote can outlive its original post, resurfacing in unrelated threads weeks later as new fans encounter it for the first time without any context about how it started. The connection between Earnhardt Jr. and Wallace made the fake post particularly damaging to NASCAR's information ecosystem. Earnhardt Jr. has long been recognized as a supporter of the team Wallace drives for, which made a fabricated attack from him carry more weight with fans than if it had been attributed to an unrelated figure. The post exploited that existing relationship, using Earnhardt Jr.'s credibility and history with the team to make the fake quote seem more believable than it otherwise would have been. Had the same words been attributed to a driver with no connection to Wallace's team, the post likely would not have spread nearly as fast, since it would have lacked the built-in credibility that came from Earnhardt Jr.'s known ties to the organization. At the time the fake post circulated, Wallace was in the middle of a strong stretch to open the 2026 season, recording 4 top 10 finishes early on. Wallace has built a reputation as an outspoken figure throughout his 9 years in the Cup Series, unafraid to address controversy directly when it involves him. That reputation made the fabricated quote spread even faster, since fans were primed to expect strong reactions and blunt commentary involving Wallace, even when the actual source of that commentary turned out to be completely fictional. The fake post fed directly into an existing perception of Wallace as a lightning rod for debate, which only made it more shareable among fans already accustomed to seeing his name attached to strong opinions. The Darlington incident that indirectly fueled the fake post's spread involved a tense exchange between Wallace and Hamlin after what was described as a destructive on-track moment between the two drivers. While the specifics of that real conflict were separate from anything Earnhardt Jr. said or did, the timing allowed the fabricated post to slot neatly into an already heated news cycle. Fans scrolling through NASCAR content in the days following Darlington were more likely to accept a dramatic quote about Wallace at face value, given the genuine tension already playing out on the track. In moments like these, real controversy often opens the door for fake controversy to walk right through it, and the Darlington fallout gave the fabricated Earnhardt Jr., quote, exactly that opening. Outlets that picked up the fake quote without verification added another layer to the problem. Once a post crosses from social media into published articles, even briefly, it gains a level of perceived legitimacy that pure social media chatter does not carry. Readers trust that outlets have done basic fact-checking before publishing a claim, particularly one as significant as a NASCAR legend calling for a driver's removal from the sport. When that verification step is skipped, fabricated content spreads even further before anyone corrects the record, and by the time a correction does arrive, the original false version has often already reached a far larger audience than the correction ever will reach in return. Earnhardt Jr.'s decision to respond publicly, even briefly, served an important function. Without his direct denial, the fake quote may have continued circulating indefinitely, picked up by additional outlets, and shared by fans who had no way of knowing it was false. His 6-word response cut through the confusion quickly, giving anyone encountering the story a clear, verifiable source confirming the post was fabricated. It also set a template that other NASCAR figures have increasingly followed when facing similar situations. Respond briefly, confirm the falsehood, and avoid amplifying the fake content any further than absolutely necessary to correct the record. The episode highlighted a broader pattern that has become increasingly common across NASCAR's online fan communities. fabricated quotes, parody accounts producing convincing fake content, and outlets moving quickly to capture engagement have combined to create an environment where distinguishing real statements from invented ones requires active verification from fans themselves. The account that appeared to originate similar posts made no secret of its intent, openly stating a goal of provoking reactions from fans who would take the content at face value. That admission alone should serve as a warning to fans who encounter similarly dramatic, unverified quotes attributed to major NASCAR figures in the future, since the same pattern has clearly repeated itself before. For Wallace, the fake post added an unwanted distraction during a season already defined by real, substantive storylines. Between his strong start with 4 top 10 finishes, his ongoing dynamic with teammate Tyler Reddick, and genuine on-track tension with drivers like Hamlin, Wallace had no shortage of authentic material generating discussion among fans. A fabricated controversy involving Earnhardt Jr. added noise to a season that did not need manufactured drama layered on top of real storylines already unfolding on the track. If anything, the fake post distracted attention away from the legitimate on-track battles that were already shaping Wallace's early season performance. The timeline of the fake post, from its origin on Facebook, through its spread to Twitter, to its pickup by outlets, and finally to Earnhardt Jr.'s direct denial, illustrated how quickly misinformation can move through NASCAR's fan ecosystem before a correction catches up. Even with Earnhardt Jr.'s swift response, the original fake post had already reached thousands of fans, some of whom may never see the follow-up confirming it was false. That gap between the spread of a fabricated claim and the reach of its correction remains one of the more persistent challenges facing NASCAR's online community as a whole. The resolution of the story ultimately rested on Earnhardt Jr.'s own words. His statement left no ambiguity about where he stood on the fabricated quote attributed to him. "Man, these fake posts get wild," stood as both a denial and commentary on the growing frequency of this exact type of incident across NASCAR's online spaces, where separating authentic driver statements from invented ones has become an ongoing challenge for fans trying to follow the sport accurately. It was a small moment in the grand scope of the season, but one that revealed just how fragile trust in online NASCAR content can be when fabricated quotes are designed to look convincing enough to pass as real, and how quickly even a NASCAR legend can find himself defending words he never said. If you want to keep up with every real storyline shaping the 2026 NASCAR season, along with the controversies that turn out to be genuine, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update.